lighting and new flooring, new seating, retractable seating, and all kinds of opportunity for ourselves, the circus industry, and the Sarasota, this region, to utilize a safe building.
It really is just an astounding building to be in. And now that it has been renovated and is so modern, it's opened up a lot of opportunities that would not necessarily have been able previously. So one of those things is the Circus Arts Conservatory now runs a magnet program with Sarasota High School. So can you tell us about that program, how it came to be, and basically how it works?
Well, education is at the cornerstone of our organization's mission, because it's our belief that, we can't just say we are trying to keep a legacy alive. We have to do that. And the way that you keep a legacy alive is to instill the values of that tradition into our youth. And so you'll find that we educate in a myriad of ways, addressing science, math, language arts. But we knew that we had to create a program that not only addressed a very unique opportunity we had here because we share a campus with Sarasota High School, but also because we are in Sarasota, the circus capital of the world, and there's an opportunity for students to really stretch themselves in their studies of the circus. And so in August of 2019, we launched the country's first high school magnet program where students were earning credit hours toward their high school diploma by studying in the circus arts. And the majority of the studies in the curriculum are centered around physical education, but there's also history, there is science, there is theater, and there's business management, all attached to this 4-year curriculum that students will be engaging in, with the idea that there are a lot of great, unique magnet programs specifically in Sarasota, but all over the country. Here in Sarasota, you can study in the performing arts, you can study in biology and science, and so the Circus Arts was a natural to add to our district's complement of programs. And it's been really successful so far. These kids have engaged in new ways with Cirque du Soleil artists, and so it's a deeper study into the circus arts than just becoming a performer.
That's really excellent. So it does work with the Sailor Circus program, or are they two totally separate programs?
They are two totally separate programs, although we find that the students that are at Sarasota High School and participating in the Circus Magnet program are also part of Sailor Circus Academy. I think 90% of them are, but they are two separate programs because the Magnet program happens during the school day and the Sailor Circus Academy is considered an after-school program.
Okay. So regarding Sailor Circus, and you said there was some connection there with a Cirque du Soleil presentation. Where does Sailor Circus find its coaches?
Ooh, good question. Well, historically, there are a lot of circus artists that homestead here in the greater Sarasota region. And so we often find that those that are retiring here or settling here are looking to share their art form and hand it down to the next generation. The generational, what I call pass, meaning how this art form has been handed down, has changed. It used to really be predominantly in families, and now we're finding that circus schools are blossoming and that you're seeing circus in fitness and athletics and everywhere. And so a lot of the coaches are either retired artists or working artists who homestead here, and in between their contracts, they are coaching because they believe in continuing, this important art form. And if they're not doing it for their own children or within their own families, then they will often come to either volunteer or be employed by the CAC to coach young students who want to be engaged. And in this really crazy time in our world, we're actually finding that many more artists are coming out and wanting to volunteer so that we can keep young people involved in the circus arts.
That's really interesting. Mm-hmm. So on the same sort of theme of questions, Sailor Circus has amazing costumes in their shows. Where do those costumes come from?
Yes, Sailor Circus does have amazing costumes. I think all of us have wanted to do a little, trial show in the costume shop, and it's one of our favorite places to tour when we bring people on campus. And the majority of those actually are stock that have been collected over 70 years. Some of them have been donated by big shows. Some of them have been commissioned to be created for the Sailor Circus. For instance, in this last holiday show in December, there was a theme of an act that had the Disney princesses. And so a seamstress was commissioned to create a stock, 6 costumes, that identified each of the princesses, Cinderella, Ariel, and the others. And so depending on the theme of the show and depending on the act and the students, we are either recycling costumes that have been worn over the last several decades. We're recreating or we're innovating. It's really a wonderful thing to be part of, to see the transition from a creative statement on a piece of paper to students actually working in those costumes. And we have an amazing team, a costume designer and a creative director, and a whole host of moms who know how to sew and others who volunteer to bring all these costumes to life.
Huh. And then what about the props? Is there a prop department at Sailor Circus?
Well, I would say the one thing about being on a circus team is everybody's part of every department. So people have certainly made lots of, but there is a prop department. And again, depending on what the theme of the show is, we will either create a set or create pieces for a clown gag. In fact, under my desk right now is a huge life-size gavel that came out of our clown portable. It's a prop, but somebody thought it would be funny to use in one of our staff meetings. So yes, there is always props involved in circus. And again, being in Sarasota, we've been very privileged to have a group of people who volunteer time to help us create some of these neat things that are highlighted in our shows.
Which sort of leads into my next question. The students' families, the parents and siblings, are they very involved in the program?
Yes. Going back to that question you asked me earlier, I mean, how do your kids got involved? It's like anything. When you are a soccer mom, all your kids are going to the sideline to cheer for their sibling. And so it's a big family effort here to put on the Sailor Circus or to get involved in circus at all. And we see parents who are helping, take tickets or popcorn, or like I said, moms who are sewing, for the kids who are getting into their costumes. We see a lot of familial engagement, and I think that's what really makes circus special, is there is a place for everybody who wants to be involved and can be involved.
That's great. That is great. And it's nice to see during the shows when you see families coming to see the shows, but also family basically working on the shows to help put them together.
Yes, I agree.
It's just a really wonderful atmosphere. Actually, Kelly told me earlier she would teach me how to make cotton candy. So you never know, I may wind up in the concession stand.
Those are the fun things, too, and the fun ways to make memories.
Yeah, exactly. So what are some of your favorite memories of circus?
Good question. Well, I've got, 12 years of them. I would say if I were going to go quickly over the highlights, one of my first years with the organization, I worked with the incredible world's greatest daredevil, Bello Knock, and we've worked with him several times. He's just an amazing person and an amazing performer. I've been instrumentally involved in several of Nick Walenda's skywalks, both here in Sarasota and in other places, and I think it's been a privilege to be part of circus history in that way. Most notably, watching my dear friend and role model, Dolly Jacobs, be the only circus artist in the world and ever so far to be awarded a National Endowment of the Arts National Heritage Fellow in the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. was just an incredible privilege. And from that, we then became involved with the Smithsonian Institute and invited to perform, educate, and advocate for the Circus Arts in Washington, D.C. in 2017. And if that wasn't great enough for me to be part of that as our organization, my daughter was the youngest performer, circus artist in that festival, and the Smithsonian documented and followed her journey there. Which when I look back, really, it's amazing to see the growth that she's had since then. And so both personally and professionally, so fulfilled to be part of something like that. And most recently, achieving the renovation that I think almost nobody thought we were going to get done by air conditioning this arena and bringing this amazing facility to our community has been just a cherry on top of everything that I just noted. And that's not where we're stopping. There's just so much more. We plan to bring this campus to a state-of-the-art status, like what you see in Montreal and other places in the world, to not only celebrate and keep the tradition of circus going, but to keep the next generation involved and engaged and educated. So there's still more to come, but that was a nice little snippet of some of the highlights.
Well, that's all really great. Really, everything you said is just so interesting, and I'm sure that everybody listening is really wanting to hear more about the Circus Arts Conservatory, but unfortunately we are out of time. So I'd like to thank you very much for participating today. And is there anything else you'd like to add that we missed?
Well, no, I thank you for the opportunity to talk about this amazing organization and the work we do. And I would say to everybody, I hope in this crazy time they stay well. And as we say here at CAC, stay calm and circus on.
Exactly. So finally, what we also like to tell everybody is that we hope they will listen again. And may all your days be circus days. Thanks so much, Jennifer. It was great talking with you.
Thanks, Beth. It was great talking with you, too. Appreciate it.